Welcome back to the Professional Hate Watching Association. It's episode 9. I'm Ethan. I'm here with Daniel. We have had allegedly a historic first week of basketball, not just because of the statistics that have been put up, but they're telling me, Comrade Adam Silver is telling us that this was the most watched opening week of basketball in 15 years, which, if you do the math, 15 years ago was LeBron's first season in the Heat with the Heat. So, you know what? We had questions about the with all the new viewership partners, with all the new media rights, and I guess it's working for him.
Yeah, I mean, numbers don't lie, and I guess Adam Silver's master plan of making NBA fans buy 50 million streaming services to watch their games is working so far. Historic numbers, and said this at the end of last week. I'm just excited that hoops are back. I don't really care what platform it's on. I'm always down to watch hoops. So excited to be in the midst of the season. Great opening week.
I know we were talking about. We'll jump right into this in a second, but I know I talked about last week how I was crashing out over, not being able to watch the Warriors in the local market because it was blacked out. But I will say the coverage that these new programs have has actually been really impressive. I don't know if you watched any of the Prime Friday night coverage last Friday. That was really good. I thought it was very it actually felt like the people knew what they were talking about instead of just trying to say things because they can.
Right.
Which was nice, was a breath of fresh air. I wonder if you're ESPN, who's kind of had a monopoly on this, because you were never going to be smaller than TNT, with seeing all of this change, if you kind of get a little nervous or not. But I don't know. They're worth billions of dollars. I doubt it.
Yeah, I didn't actually get a chance to catch the Prime games on Friday. I'll try and catch them this week, but I have been watching NBA on NBC, and the presentation and the feel for these games so far has been really impressive to me. I feel like I'm watching like Sunday Night Football, but it's for the NBA. I think they have a great panel of studio hosts. Maria Taylor obviously does Sunday Night Football, so that's kind of what makes it feel like I'm watching a Sunday Night Football game. And then Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Carmelo Anthony, I think those are a good group of guys. They seem to fit well together. And then I don't know if you got a chance to catch the game yesterday, the Knicks game, or if you saw anything on Twitter. They're doing player intros now like they do for football. So like it's the players saying the name and where they went to college. They're not getting as goofy as the NFL players do, saying like tight end university or something like that. They're all just saying where they went to college. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty cool feature and something that just makes the games feel –
it feels more immersive.
Yeah, it feels more immersive. They feel more important, which is something that I think the NBA has been lacking over the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, kind of surprising because Silver just said it was a highlight league. That seems a little too immersive for highlight leagues. But for context, the Friday Prime coverage has a panel of Steve Nash, Blake Griffin, Udonis Haslem, and Dirk Nowitzki.
That's a random lineup of guys.
Yeah, they kind of spun a wheel. But it works pretty well. I think it works pretty well. But yeah, so they're off to a great start. You know who else is off to a great start? Your boy Giannis, who I saw you put up a statistic today. He's averaging what? 36. I saw 70% shooting percentage. What is he averaging again?
He's averaging this year 36.3 points per game on 69.5% shooting from the field. 57% from three, mind you, on very limited attempts, albeit 14 rebounds, 7 assists, almost a steal, and a little over a block per game. He won Eastern Conference Player of the Week for the first week of the season, which isn't that surprising. The Bucks went 2-1 in that span. They beat the Raptors, Wizards, and then almost came back from an 18-point deficit against the Cavs, who are obviously one of the teams that people are picking to win the East this year. It's like them and the Knicks. And then speaking of the Knicks, they beat New York yesterday. They had to come back a little bit in that game as well, down double digits. And Giannis finished with 37 points. He's only scored fewer than 37 points in one game this year, the game against Toronto, when he had 31 and 20. And I mean,
only 31 and 20.
Only 31 and 20. Pedestrian game for Giannis's standards this year. But I wanted to start out with this because I think this just reaffirms my belief that other people may not believe so, but I think Giannis is the best player in the league, because before 2023, there had never been a season where somebody averaged 30 points per game on 60% shooting, Giannis has done it 2 years in a row, and he is probably going to do it again this year on even higher efficiency when he doesn't even have that clear number 2 option on the team. There's no Damian Lillard to take defenders away from him. All 5 guys have their eyes on him the entire time. He's initiating the offense on damn near every possession, and he has somehow gotten more efficient and better than he did last year. And 30 points per game, he's giving you elite defense. I don't know what people are seeing. I think Giannis is the best player in the league. I've stood firm on that take since he won the championship, and I never backed off, and I feel pretty good about that take now.
I mean, there's always been a case to be made. I was going to ask you why he's never put in that number 1, because I feel like he's always in the conversation for top 5, always top 5, usually top 3 as well. I feel like it rotates between it's like him, Shea, and Jokic as of late.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you why is he never put in that number 1 position, especially in the last 4 years, but it's probably because he hasn't won an MVP or a title.
Or a playoff series in the last 3 years either. Which,
that's true.
Granted, he was injured, but I think that has something to do with it. And I think a lot of people are probably just numb to the numbers he puts up and the way he plays. It's not the flashiest style of basketball. It's not the prettiest. There's going to be a lot of controversial, should have been offensive fouls, maybe some travels. Did you see the clip last night?
That was pretty obscene.
Like, people don't really like to watch that. He can't really make free throws. So like people think he isn't skilled. So when people have a guy who they view as not skilled, it's going to be hard for him to be consistently in those talks as the best player in the league. When you have a guy like Shea who can hit shots from pretty much anywhere, gives you 30 a night, and Jokic so far this season and for most of his career has pretty much been a walking triple-double at the center position. But I think you can put all 3 of those guys' names in a hat, Jokic, Giannis, and Shea, and then Wemby's entering that conversation with how he's gotten off to his start this year. And you can pick pretty much any of them, and I think you'd be fine with either one of them. And to close this off, I've realized that I don't have a problem with people saying that Jokic or Shea are better than Giannis. I have a problem with people who think that the best player in the world is miles ahead of whoever they think the second best player in the world is. I don't think there's a big gap between any of these guys right now. I think it might be a 1A, 1B, 1C thing for me, to be honest.
I think that's a very, first of all, congrats on growth. I don't know if I would have caught you saying that even 6 or 7 months ago, but I actually think you're touching upon something a little more revealing about the NBA media discourse and why so many people hate it, is because the NBA above anything else deals with absolutes. And as you know, only a Sith deals in absolutes. I'll put a pin in that. But this is sports discourse as a whole, but especially with the NBA, because again, highlight league, all of that conversation, two things can't be true at the same time, it seems like, which is, Jokic is the best player for 2 weeks, and then Giannis is the best player for the next month. It's like, no, that's not actually. It's Jokic is the best player, and then it's everybody else, or Giannis is the best player and everybody else. I get what you're saying, and I think that is a fair point. And maybe the fact that you are talking about this shows that the NBA media discourse is healing.
I'm the most
people. You of all people.
I only deal in objectivity, as people who watch views from the sidelines know. I'm objective. I tell it like I see it. And that's just what I see. I think there's and like I said, Wemby's entering this conversation. I think most people, I thought Wemby was a year away. He might not be a year away. He might already be here. So like maybe next year we're at a point where Wemby might be the best player in the league. But I think it's all those guys at the top. I don't know if you can say any one of those guys, and it's like, you can make an argument for any of them, and I wouldn't be mad at it.
So let's talk about Victor Wembanyama then, because as I said last week, and you didn't push back on this because you said, there's a possibility for it, that the Spurs could be an actual, well, I said play-in team, but after seeing them for a week, they might be able to actually be a playoff team without needing a play-in tournament, because Victor Wembanyama became the first player, I believe it was in the first 3 games, what was it, 100 plus points, 50 plus boards, 15 plus blocks.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really comprehend how crazy that was until I sat and thought about it for a little bit, because I was like, think 15 blocks through 3 games is insane. I've never seen
Yeah.
somebody average more than like 3.5 over the course of 1 year. The only player that I
Right.
could think of that ever scraped that level was Hassan Whiteside in 2016.
Yeah.
Real, if you know, you know.
Mhm.
So this man is, at least so far, has been playing a top 5 player in basketball, probably number 4.
Yeah.
Up to this point, the question, of course, is can he stay healthy? He had obviously the freak injury with the blood clot last year, but dude, I was high on Wemban-Giannis last year. I brought it again this year. You know this. You can vouch for it. I don't think any of us saw this coming.
I didn't see it coming. Like I said, I thought the Spurs were a year away or either a year away from being a year away. And people didn't really, I don't think most people picked them to make the playoffs because the West was so crowded. But I think the fact that they've gotten off to this fast start and Wemby is, his highlights are unreal. I think I said this last week that first game against the Mavericks, I think I watched those highlights like maybe 4 or 5 times because some of the stuff he was doing was just insane. And then like
His dunks are insane. He doesn't even leave the ground.
Every game so far, he's had like a signature highlight, like that reverse against the Mavs. And I think the next game he had like a freakish, like he blocked Zion at the rim multiple times, I think, but one of them was like super insane. And then he had like some 360 spin alley-oop against the Raptors or whatever. So like he's insane. And I'm wondering, I think the question now for the Spurs is what is this going to look like when De'Aaron Fox comes back, because he hasn't played at all this year. And I've been seeing a lot of discourse on the Spurs actually probably needing to trade him, because he's a little older than a lot of those guys on the team. And I think their guard room is pretty crowded. Like you have Stephon Castle, they got Dylan Harper in the draft, and it's kind of Devin Vassell. So it's kind of unclear where he fits on this team. And he's also a guy that isn't the greatest outside shooter. And Wemby is a good shooter, but I'd imagine the Spurs want to surround him with guys who can be reliable outside shooters. So I wonder what this team is going to look like when Swipa comes back.
You see, it's interesting you say that because I thought that if the Spurs were going to be successful this year, it was because of De'Aaron Fox and not potentially in spite of him or because he was out. Now, they could continue chugging along as is when he comes back. That's a possibility. I thought De'Aaron Fox was going to fit the role of the veteran facilitator. I thought the changing of the guard, Chris Paul was there last year, and I thought it was just going to be a simple, like you just handed the reign. That role goes to Fox, and he's there for, obviously he's not in the long-term plans. I didn't think that was the case either.
Yeah.
But, being in his late 20s, you can keep him there for a couple years, show the other guards what it's like to, need to facilitate and work with Victor Wembanyama. Ironically, even though Fox would be learning along the same path as them.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you say that because if you take De'Aaron Fox out of there, and I'm not going to go as far as to say De'Aaron Fox is like a top 5 leader in basketball or anything like that. But I think because this team is so new that I think having a player like De'Aaron Fox around can prevent it's the Spurs. I doubt this. They're such a, unironic class act organization. I think that keeping a player that like De'Aaron Fox around and actually keeping him, you can't, if you keep him, he's going to play like significant minutes. Yeah. It's not like he's going to hang out as like the 14th player on the bench.
Right.
But I think keeping him around creates more stability. Now we'll see when he comes back how that works. But I struggle to think of a situation where they move on from him less than a year after acquiring him. But, who knows at this point? The NBA is a very weird place.
Yeah. You can't, like you're saying, you can't underestimate intangibles. And granted, it was 1 year and they didn't go very far, but De'Aaron Fox knows what it's like to lead a team to the postseason and compete in the playoffs. And as great as Wemby is, he hasn't done that yet. And I think having a guy like Fox next to him is only going to be an advantage. And I don't really see how it can be a disadvantage, because even if the fit doesn't work out as great as it should, I don't see it hindering Wemby's production. Like, as long as he stays healthy, I don't think he's going to have any problems producing. So, I
don't think it's going to be an issue at all for Victor Wemby. I think having De'Aaron Fox is a net plus. Well, to be honest, having him or not, is still like, I don't think Wemby's going to change realistically, but having him as a net plus. The possible net negative is with, like you said, the rest of the guards and figuring out where they fit, because De'Aaron Fox comes back. He presumably gets a starting role. Where does that put Stephon Castle? And if Stephon Castle moves over, where does that put Devin Vassell or Dylan Harper? So like somebody's got to move down the lineup, obviously, but I can only see that being an issue if Fox is only around, if Fox can't stay healthy. If Fox can't stay healthy, then you're shuffling around, and we're forgetting about the fact that the Spurs have a brand new head coach, which I always make jokes on Misfits socials about saying that when this job is open, people pay attention. Talking about college football jobs. This job has not been open in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
So the fact that this job is open is a huge deal. I'm blanking on his name, but
the coach right now?
Yes.
Mitch Johnson.
Yes, Mitch Johnson. Obviously, Pop helped, like, vouch for him. He's meant to be there. They don't doubt him, but, you know, he's learning as he goes. So I think Fox kind of being in and out of the lineup is a bad scenario for him, because it's just, you know, everybody's adjusting now. But, dude, as long as you got Victor Wembanyama, man, you talk about Giannis averaging, what was it, 36 on nearly 70% splits. Wemby is averaging 31 points on 60% splits and 36.5 from three.
To go along with nearly 5 blocks.
To go along with nearly 5 blocks and 14 boards.
Yeah. So, and 1.5 steals. Like, it's insane.
And only 1.5 turnovers. His steal to turnover, not assist to turnover, steal to turnover is 1-to-1, which is insane. Yeah. So, the Spurs are on fire. You know, they're going to inevitably probably hit a block. That's just kind of what happens.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird to say this with a team that has a player like Victor Wembanyama. They're kind of just playing with house money. They don't know any better. You talked about Fox with the Beam team with the Kings. Kind of similar vibes. They obviously don't have a player of that equal caliber as Wembanyama, but they're just good players, and they don't have expectations. They're just, you know, they're just playing basketball, and they're playing it really, really well.
Yeah. And by the way, just as a quick aside, it's kind of crazy to be talking about, it feels crazy to be talking about De'Aaron Fox as a guy who doesn't fit the timeline of a young team, because I still remember it's like 2017 doesn't feel that long ago when Jason Tatum and Lonzo Ball were all just drafted, and now they're all in their, like 8th, 9th seasons in the league, which is insane.
Yeah, year 8. I never thought I would see De'Aaron Fox leave Sacramento, but after it happened, I thought, that makes kind of sense. The Kings somehow got older, which is like the most Kings thing ever.
Yeah, they traded their franchise cornerstone and didn't get younger, but they got older, which is they're just the Bulls of the West. They're the Bulls of the West.
Yeah, and it helps that they have the 2 cornerstones of the last Bulls project in their team now, except they're older, less efficient, and now playing in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So anyway, but based on the title of the episode, viewers can obviously tell that these two have been, you know, at the top of the mind in terms of, I feel like not just for us because we were hyping them up to start the season, but, you know, for a lot of people I've seen the highlights. I've seen it all. Wembanyama's opening night performance against the Spurs overshadowed the fact that Cooper Flagg had a double-double in his first NBA game. Yeah. Against that same man, by the way. So grabbing double-digit boards against Wemby is impressive, but nobody was talking about it.
Yeah. It wasn't even
double-double.
Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah.
I want to remind the viewers that there was a point where I remember NBA Discourse where I didn't say this. I know you didn't say it, but there were conversations about Scoot Henderson being better than Victor Wembanyama.
I remember that.
Certain talking heads saying that. I remember thinking, how could you even say that for it to be a hot take?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Kendrick Perkins said that, but I'll just say Kendrick Perkins said that.
Yeah. And I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if Scoot Henderson's injured. I haven't been paying the closest attention to him right now, but he looks like he hasn't even played this year. I'm sure he's injured, but I mean,
well, the Blazers have had bigger things going on.
True.
So there's that.
Yeah. They don't have a coach right now. And
yet they still blew out the Warriors, bro.
Tiago Splitter is coaching games for the Blazers right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's their interim head coach.
Tiago Splitter. Every time when you think of Tiago Splitter, what do you think of?
Tiago Splitter, Rasho Nesterovic. Wait, what were you thinking of?
I was thinking of that when LeBron James
blocked him at the
yeah, and then stood there. I thought of that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good pull too, though.
Yeah, no.
Another team that the Blazers did recently, they blew out the Golden State Warriors, which is hilarious to me because the Warriors, we're not talking about this tonight, but the Warriors have been absolutely screwed by the schedule dynamic to start the season. 6 games in 8 days is insane, or 6 games in 9 days.
Yeah. I was gonna say that game was the back end of a back-to-back when they just beat the Nuggets in overtime the night before. So,
and team's old.
Yeah, and it was on the road too, right? They had to travel to Portland. So,
and now they got to go. They just played back-to-back games against the Clippers and the oh my god, I'm blanking.
The Grizzlies. They played the
Grizzlies. Yeah, they played the Clippers and the Grizzlies. Took care of them pretty handily, but now they got to go on the road to play Milwaukee tomorrow. So it's like Giannis might put up 60 tomorrow. We got Quentin Post guarding him,
bro. He might,
and he might. Al,
bro,
he might not miss a shot.
We'll see.
No, he'll miss it. He'll miss like 2 shots and then make it up in free throws. But another team that the Blazers played, they lost, but this isn't where you think it's going. They lost to the Clippers by 7 over the weekend, I think, or just most recently.
Yeah.
Now the Clippers are 2-2. That's not crazy considering. Look at other teams that are even worse than them. Like you were talking about the Knicks. The Knicks are what, 1-3?
The Knicks are 2-2.
The Knicks are 2-2. The Celtics
are going to be 2-3, or they are 2-3. They just beat the
2-3. So there's a lot of teams hanging around that middle of the pack, which makes sense. It's just, it's the feeling out period of the NBA season. But the Clippers just seem like, I don't know. I'm blanking on how to describe them, because when I think about how the Clippers have played, granted, I've watched 2 Clippers games up to this point. The fire's gone. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, when you put together a roster like this that's so up there in age, I wasn't expecting them to lose to the Jazz opening night or for them to be 2-2, but I kind of sipped the Kool-Aid a little bit and thought, can they maybe do something in the West this year? Kawhi's actually starting the season healthy for once. I mean, James Harden still looks like he has some stuff left in the tank. I wasn't a huge fan of the Brook Lopez signing, but Clippers fans that I know were super excited about adding Brook Lopez to the team, and I'm just like, wait for it. I'm telling you, it's coming. You're gonna see those games where teams just spam that drop coverage, and you can't do anything about it because he's essentially immobile at this point in his career, and it's such a random supporting cast of guys. Like Bradley Beal's there too. Like, and what's John Collins doing coming off the bench? Like, I just don't. It's such an interesting roster.
It seems, I think we were kind of trying to avoid saying it like this, but and I'm going to overreact after 1 week of play, the roster just seems bloated. Yeah. It just seems like, how when you're playing 2K, my league, and the NBA offseason hits, and you just try to scoop up the best available. That seems like what the Clippers did, but they didn't really factor in the chemistry element of it. Granted, 2-2 is not, it's not like they're 0-4. They've won basketball games, plural, but it just, nothing excites me. Like Kawhi and Harden are each averaging 21 apiece. That's not bad. But like Bradley Beal's giving you 5.5, dude.
Yeah.
5.5 points in 20 minutes of play.
And Chris Paul has scored 0 points in 2 out of the 4 games they've played this year.
Yeah, he's averaging 2.5.
So, yeah. And
Nick Batum is still on this roster, by the way.
Yeah.
And Bogdanovich is here. I didn't even know Bogdanovich was here.
They got him at the deadline last year. I think they traded Terrence Mann to Atlanta to get Bogey. But
he's only played 2 games, averaging 1 point.
But like you said, it's not the fact that they're 2-2. It's the fact that they're 2-2 and they've looked really bad in the games they've lost. There's no excuse to be losing to the Jazz in the first game of the season.
By double digits.
A team that is actively tanking. Like, they're trying to lose games, and you got blown out by the Jazz. And then you went on the road, couldn't even score 80 points against the Warriors a team that is one of your rivals in the Western Conference, a team that you're going to have to go through if you want to make a deep playoff run this year. And I feel like that's a matchup the Clippers should be able to exploit. Like, they're a really big team, and the Warriors, you and I talk about this all the time. The Warriors, we've been begging for the Warriors to get a center forever, and the Clippers weren't able to exploit that matchup at all. So
the Warriors' front
really
court defense is so just average that it takes Draymond playing mind games on the front court, on the opposing team's front court, for them to like make mistakes. Like when he got the flagrant foul and he was dancing around after they missed those free throws against the Grizzlies the other night.
Yeah,
that's like that's the Warriors' front court defense at this point.
Yeah,
and we're 4 games in. So I also think that, again, inconsistency. It's the James Harden experience. The only problem is that the inconsistency is regular season to playoffs. We've seen it in just 4 games already. Harden has scored his season high up to this point is 30, which is solid for James Harden at this point in his career. But then the rest of then his next highest is 20. Like, it's just it's too much fluctuation. I need more consistency, and that's the issue with, I feel like, a lot of the players that they have on this roster, because if all of it is clicking, or even 75% of the players on their roster, if they're clicking, they're winning games. The problem is that nearly all of these players, you look top to bottom, nearly all of those household names on that roster are, what's their biggest consistency? Inconsistency.
Exactly.
So it's just, it doesn't seem like it's going to work. Now, this could very well be a team that wins 49 games and gets in as like a 6 seed. They love the 5 seed, by the way. They love that. That's like their favorite spot. So they could very well get there, but close the book. If you close the book on the Lakers title window, close the book on the Clippers, please.
Yeah. And I mean, don't look now, and this is going to sound absolutely crazy coming from me, but the Heat are 3-1 to start the season, and Norman Powell, a guy who I've liked for a really long time, he's really, really good. Him and I share the same birthday, by the way. Just a little something to throw in there. He's averaging so far 24 points per game this season, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 48% from the field, 50% from 3. So, and I don't even think Tyler Hero, I think he's injured.
He's still out.
He's still out. So, like, he's able to help the Miami Heat offense look good. And that's pretty damn hard to do, because
that's really hard to do.
They don't have any heavy hitters on offense outside of Tyler Hero and Norman Powell. So, I mean, you traded him away to get, I think it was the John Collins trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
Norman Powell showed last year that hatred can motivate him. They asked him to fill in for Paul George. He said, bet.
Wasn't he an all-star? Wasn't he an all-star, or like damn near an all-star? Like, didn't he almost make the all-star team last year?
So, yeah, I think he was close. I don't think he actually made it, but
he was getting a lot of buzz to be like a reserve.
I would have remembered seeing him in that horrible all-star format this past year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he showed last year that he could do it. He's never had to take that role, whether it was, with the Raptors or the Blazers and then the Clippers, of course. Norman Powell being a number 1 option on a team that's winning games is, impressive. It's kind of funny because, again, it's only 4 games, but the Heat I have more confidence in the Heat right now than I do with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Because they play, oh my God, Heat culture or whatever type of basketball they want to call it. And it's working. So, and these aren't, they've played the Knicks. They played the most unserious team in basketball too.
The Hornets.
Yep. But they've beaten the Knicks. They've beaten the Grizzlies. They came up just short against the Magic. The Magic, however, are interesting because they are 1-5 now. No, sorry, 1-4. And that includes losses to the Hawks, the Bulls, the Sixers, and Cade and them. I want to add that 3 of those 4 losses are by double digits. So, and then, well, no, 2, yeah, and then 2 of those 3 double-digit losses were on the road. But like we were talking about, I mean, you had Orlando winning the Eastern Conference this year.
I did. I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up, and it's still early. It's still early.
It is still early. No, this is all overreactions, because for all we know, the Magic can end up winning 55 games. The Clippers could make it to the conference finals again. Like, this is all overreaction. The Spurs can never win another basketball game. Like, anything could happen.
Yeah. It's disappointing, though, given how fast of a start the Magic were able to get off to last year, when for a good chunk of the season, like the first 30 games or whatever, they were a top 4 seed in the East until Paolo got hurt.
They were 1 at one point.
Paolo got hurt. Franz got hurt. I think Cole Anthony got hurt. Like one of their guards got hurt. Just everybody got hurt. They were ravaged by injuries. And it's also pretty disappointing because a guy that I've given a lot of praise to in Paolo, and a big reason why I picked the Magic to win the East, aside from the whole conference just not being that good and injury riddled, was I thought he was going to really take that leap this year. But as like we're overreacting, I get it. It's early, but he's not gotten off to a good start to the season. He's averaging a little under 23 points per game on less than 40% shooting, less than 20% from three at 18.8, 8.5 rebounds is the most. It would be a career high if it stays around that range. So he's rebounding it decently, but only 2 assists. He's not efficient. So he definitely needs to pick it up if the Magic are going to do anything this year.
More turnovers than assists. That's never a good look for the brand.
Yeah.
And obviously, because I mean, I had the Magic as a dark horse pick too. I was talking about the Pistons also. Obviously, if one team is falling, naturally one team has to be rising. And we talked about the Heat. There's another team that's rising. We mentioned them in passing last week, but the Philadelphia 76ers have yet to lose a basketball game.
That's not something I thought we would be saying a week into the season.
The Philadelphia 76ers have not lost a basketball game, and it hasn't been because Joel Embiid is playing like an MVP again.
Right.
Which could have been possible, but not without one or the other. I think that seeing Philly 4-0, I mean, after, 2 years of literally being in basketball purgatory, is nice for them. They can't have 2 winning teams, though. It's either the Eagles or the Sixers. You got to make up your minds. That's just the rule of sports. You can't have 2. But the Sixers have yet to lose a game, and VJ Edgecombe is hooping. I mean, Tyrese Maxey is hooping in all caps. VJ Edgecombe is hooping with a capital H.
I was going to say he's hooping with a capital H. And if you're the Sixers, this is the absolute dream scenario. Like, I don't think they could have imagined a start to the season like this where they're 4-0. They haven't lost a basketball game yet. Tyrese Maxey's playing out of his mind. Looks like the best point guard in the East right now. Your rookie, VJ Edgecombe, has gotten off to a great start. Looks like he's going to be a phenomenal player. You don't have Paul George, and Joel Embiid is on a minutes restriction. Like, this is a dream. Like, obviously they want Paul George to be healthy, but the fact that they're able to win these games while playing Embiid around 30 minutes a night while he gets ramped back up to his, I guess, true form is a dream scenario for the Sixers. And Embiid had his best game of the season last night against the Wizards, albeit he had 25, 7, and 5 in 23 minutes, and they were able to beat the Wizards in overtime. And these wins have been clutch wins too. Like, they've had to come from behind and win close games. So they're executing in crunch time. The Sixers look pretty good. And I think once Embiid gets back and healthy, if they stay healthy, there's no excuse for them not to make a legitimate run at winning the East this year. Like you brought it up before the season started, this is their best chance. Boston is without Jason Tatum, and it's looking like that's a really big problem for them right now. The Pacers haven't won a game yet without Tyrese Halliburton. The Bucks are still uncertain. People don't know if this is going to translate to the postseason. Talent-wise, the Sixers should be the most talented team in the conference this year if fully healthy. Yeah. If fully healthy. So who knows how it's going to go. They should be able to make a run at it this year, which is kind of weird to say because I thought we were done with the Sixers, to be honest.
I mean, I thought that, it was going to be a changing of the guard situation where, Embiid, tries he might slowly start getting ushered out in terms of, being that main player for the Sixers. I mean, he kind of already has. It's been the Tyrese Maxey show to start the season, but VJ Edgecombe has fully taken over Maxey's former role of that right-hand man number 2 spot, and he's played well. The thing that gets me is Maxey's playing efficient. I mean, there's only one player scoring more points than Giannis, and it's Maxey at 37.5.
Yeah.
But he's averaging 37, almost 4 boards and 8 dimes on 45.5% shooting. Like, that is, when you're the number 1 option and you're taking that many shots, that's not bad. So I think it's, I was higher on the Sixers than you were, but even I said, I hit you with the Doctor Strange, where it's like there's a scenario where they can get it into the play-in. They keep this up. They're a surefire playoff team.
No, definitely. And like I said, Paul, I wonder, kind of like this similar for the Spurs, because they're obviously on a heater right now. Sixers are on a heater. I wonder what Paul George's role is going to be with this team, because when he comes back, they're obviously going to try and integrate him into this offense. And I just hope it doesn't mess with the development of Edgecombe or mess with the flow that Maxi's in right now. I hope it's able to be a seamless transition. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I forgot when PG-13. No, I'm sorry. He doesn't wear 13 anymore. When Paul George is expected to come back, I'm not entirely sure, but that'll be the key. Can they integrate him and have it not mess up the rhythm they're in right now as a team?
You know, I don't necessarily know if it would hinder Maxi necessarily. Edgecombe I'm a little concerned about, because you get this opportunity to be a number 2 guy, and on certain instances the number 1 guy, and then you're not expected to just secede that position to Paul George. Yeah. But we know how Paul George plays. Like, the man needs the ball. So I am a little concerned about that. But at the same time, you would think Paul George is aware of the situation that's going on and is like, they're going to pass me by regardless. I might as well make it easier for this team.
Right.
So, like, Paul George is aware that he's not in the Sixers' long-term plans. I don't think he ever was.
Right.
So I think that he's got his nice little contract. He's going to do what he can, not do what he should. Or no, do what he should, not do what he can, if that makes sense. If those two don't align, he's got to do what he should and not do what he can, because the Philadelphia 76ers have surprised everybody. They're in my opinion, the most surprising team to start the season. And they can very well keep that up if they don't mess it up too much.
Yeah.
But if we know the Philadelphia 76ers, is that you can never count that out.
Exactly.
Which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm not a Sixers fan, so I kind of just observe and don't really react.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I think this season, that even though there's a lot of injuries this year, Tatum's out for the year, Halliburton's out for the year, Luka's going to be out for at least a week after he got off to a super hot start to the year. Anthony Edwards is going to be out for 2 weeks with, I think it's a hamstring tear.
It's a hamstring.
So, I mean, the scoring explosion to start the season is super insane. We hit on Giannis. Tyrese Maxey's putting up a bunch of points. I don't even know how to explain Austin Reaves. I was not familiar.
Let's talk about Austin Reaves,
because I can't explain this. I genuinely can't explain this. And the friends that we have that are Lakers fans are obviously going to be like, "Oh, we're not surprised by this." But
yes, you were. Yes, they were.
You know good and damn well that you did not think you were going to be looking at the stats 3 or 4 games into the season and see Austin Reaves averaging 36 points per game, 8.5 assists on 57% shooting.
He's third in scoring right now after 5 games.
Yeah.
So the thing about this is why, if I were a Lakers fan, I'm not, for the record. If I was a Lakers fan and I saw this gets me really excited for what could happen later, because there hasn't been an announcement. I think but you and I both have said it looks like Bron is going to retire after this season.
Yeah.
I mean, he should, but I also want to point out, just on a side tangent, I made the Bron comparison earlier to the viewership. They've had the highest viewership in 15 years, and Bron isn't even a part of it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. But I think that shows that the NBA will be just fine without LeBron James.
Yeah. But as long as they market their stars correctly, they need to market these guys, especially the international guys, because I
think they're doing better at it now, because they've needed to.
Yeah.
Because they've needed to.
Yeah. No, LeBron is the guy that definitely enjoys that spotlight. Like LeBron craves attention. Like there's no other way to say it. That dude loves attention. But these guys like Wemby, Giannis, Jokic, even Shea, they're not like that. They kind of just do their own thing. The NBA has to really put in an effort to show the fans who they are, which I think, to your credit, like you said, they've done a pretty good job of. So
yeah. So But anyway, I think that if I were a Lakers fan, I would love this because it shows that if we keep Austin Reaves around, there's potential there. So
Yeah.
we now know where the bar is. Now, 35 and a half points a night is unrealistic to expect from us, anybody really, except for a handful of players,
Yeah.
much less Austin Reaves. But just know that that's the ceiling.
Yeah.
So when he's giving you 4 points a night, you're like, bro, you gave us 50 when you were option 1. As option 3, you can't give me like 14.
Exactly.
Like you can't give me like 14 to 16 points a night because if you give me that when Braun and Luka come back, we're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, no,
So
exactly.
I need you to take Gabe Vincent's hypothetical stats and score those too because that's only gonna add like 4, but like come on, I need that too.
Yeah, and a lot of that I think is going to be on. That's definitely on JJ Redick. Like he's going to have to figure out how to keep Austin Reaves involved in the offense. And as we're talking about Austin Reaves now, I just remembered. I can't remember if it was the last episode or the one before that, but I said something about Austin Reaves. I was like, "Yo, like, is he really that good? Like, I don't really know how he fits on this team." I'm walking that back. Like Austin Reaves can hoop. He's showing us that right now, and now it's up to JJ Redick to figure out how, because obviously when LeBron and Luka come back, he's going to have to play off the ball. How are you going to keep him involved? Is it maybe having LeBron and Luka play off the ball a little bit to like get him some rhythm going, like get his confidence going? And that's going to be tricky because those aren't two guys, LeBron and Luka, who I view as who would be super thrilled about having to play off the ball, having to move around. Like nobody's going to be Steph Curry, like the way he runs around screens.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to have to sacrifice a little bit to ensure that Austin Reaves is able to somewhat keep this going because out of all the guys they have on their roster, he's definitely the guy where you would expect the most to contribute outside of Luka and LeBron.
But considering how the roster's set up right now, Austin Reaves might become that guy, the off-ball mover.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other part of it because it's like I mentioned how I'd be really excited for what happens later, not necessarily thrilled about what happens now because if I'm Austin Reaves, I'm like, I'm hooping. I deserve the ball. I'm aware that the two juggernauts of this team are coming back eventually, and I will be relegated back to option 3. I'm aware of that. That doesn't mean I can't, try to still do what I'm doing, if you get what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
So I'm not saying there's going to be chemistry issues or anything. Austin Reaves doesn't strike me as somebody who would mess with that because I think his end goal is to win in the Lakers with the Lakers. But I do think about how that might hinder his confidence. I feel like it's unfair for them to assume it's like, okay, we've seen this from Austin Reaves as option 1. Okay, we have him as option 3 later, like in 2 months from now. We're down by 3. Hey, Reaves, go get me a bucket. Like, I don't think that's fair. I mean, granted, he's getting paid a lot of money. So you could argue, hey, that's fair because he's getting paid all that money. But like, that's not, he's not a microwave. Like,
yeah,
he could be, but it's because he's been option 1. You can't expect him to just go and get that for you as option 3. I feel like, but maybe I'm just being too, I don't know. He is getting paid a lot of money. So maybe JJ Redick is like, if you don't get me this, like, you're not, why are we paying you this much money?
Yeah. I mean, like this.
I see both sides is my point because I think it might be unfair to ask Austin Reaves to do all that when relegating him to option 3, but maybe they don't need him to do that because who knows what Braun's going to look like when he comes back. But Luka was on a heater before he got hurt. Luka's probably like, I didn't lose all this weight to give the ball to AR-15, bro.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, no, this scoring, like Austin Reaves averaging 35 is just crazy to me. And like we didn't even like not as relevant, but like even Lauri Markkanen had a 50-point game for the Jazz a few days ago. And Aaron Gordon against the Warriors had basically the most efficient 50-point game in NBA history. He almost broke the record. I think it was it most threes to start a game without a miss? I think he made his first 8 threes. I forget what the record is, but he came close to breaking that record. And I don't think I've seen a guy like transform his career more than Aaron Gordon has, because when he was on the Magic, he was expected to be that first option. He even took them to the playoffs like once or twice, back-to-back years, actually. They played Toronto and Milwaukee in the first round. But then obviously when you're playing next to Joker, you're not going to be the number 1 option, and you have to figure out how to be effective off the ball. If there's one team where you're going to play off the ball, talking about being off the ball, it's on the Nuggets, because you know who's going to have the ball in his hands the entire time. And he's found a way to do that. And I still feel pretty good about Denver coming out of the West. I still like that pick, even though Jokic got off to a slow start. He's still averaging a triple-double. He's had a triple-double in every game so far. They're playing right now. I was going to say,
it's not. It wasn't really a slow start. It's just an inefficient start.
Yeah, he's triple-double in every game. They're playing right now, so who knows if that streak is going to last. But, yeah, man, the Nuggets look tough. And Jamal Murray looks really good too, which I think is the most important part of the Nuggets, because when he was really good and healthy, they won the championship in 23. He's averaging 30 right now. So, I mean,
that's even if I think if Jamal Murray can hover around, his 30's great, especially as a number 2 option. Yeah. But, Jokic will get his bearings together. If Jamal Murray can sit around like 22, 23 points, dude, nobody's beating the Nuggets. And I know I'm biased because you and I both picked Denver, but I think if Jamal Murray's getting you 22, 23 a night, oh my God, nobody's beating that team, bro, because you haven't even factored in Cam Johnson.
Right. Who's still trying to find his footing, by the way, who's still trying to kind of figure things out.
Yeah, he is. But he has the luxury of being able to do that on a team that doesn't need him to be option 1 right now, or even option 2.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean,
I think that him and Bruce Brown, more so Johnson, but Brown too, just recalibrate, figure out where you fit in this. Again, we're only a week in. I'm not going to overreact with the team I picked to win the title.
Yeah. And you and I are obviously both very high on Denver, but I think both of us say that with absolutely no disrespect to the champs and the Thunder, who have the best record in the league. They're 5-0. They're undefeated. And Shea had a 55-point game last week, even though more than half of the points were from free throws, but that's a different conversation for another day. I actually have an opinion on this. My favorite player is a guy who gets to the line a lot, in Giannis. I think he gets to the line in different ways, because I think Shea is, for lack of a better term, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose. I'm sure he is, because they're getting the calls. He's manipulating the game. Let's just be honest. He knows how to draw fouls, and that's a skill in the NBA. James Harden was good at it. Luka's good at it. When you're a guy who's not Giannis and you can't just bully people and get hacked, you have to be creative when you're trying to draw fouls, and he knows how to do it. And if the refs are going to make the call, then don't stop doing it. It's not on Shea. It's on the refs on whether or not they want to reward him for what he's doing on the court with his foul baiting. So, I mean, I have no issues with it, to be honest.
I think it's, again, I think it's a reflection. Again, I struggled to how to properly say it for a while, especially throughout last year as it was actively happening. I think that you're right. It's a bigger reflection of the system, and he's just, taking advantage of the system, and you can't really fault the guy for, he wants to win. He's going to do whatever he can to win, because it's not cheating. Some people make this out to be like he's cheating, when in reality, I mean, you're laughing because you know people like this.
Yeah.
And so it's not that, obviously, but I agree. I think it's a reflection of the system and the loopholes in it. Not loopholes, but the flaws in it. Ironically, here's the most ironic part out of the whole thing. Adam Silver himself called the league a highlights league. Fouling and getting free throws are arguably the least highlight reel worthy thing in basketball.
Yeah.
It is everybody standing still while somebody shoots.
Right.
So the irony is not lost here. You would think that there would not be a foul baiting issue in basketball when the commissioners called it a highlights league. So I struggled with the kind of the double, not a double-edged sword, but the complications there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't fault Shea, really, to be honest. I used to be like, oh dude, I'd watch it, I'd be like, this is so not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's really not that fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it's not fun to watch, but And I think it takes away from Shea's actual other capabilities in basketball. He's a great shooter.
Yeah.
And I think that he's just known as a foul baiter, which, is kind of unfortunate, but I don't think he cares. He's getting paid money and he has a title, and an MVP. Yeah. So I don't think he cares, but I think it does take away from the actual skill that he has in his game. And you're right. Foul baiting, is a skill as much as even I don't really want to admit it because I just feel like it's just you just pump fake and the player jumps.
Yeah. I mean, what happened
But
to
it
the
is a
rule
skill.
what happened to not rewarding the offensive player for leaping into the defender as they're in the air? I swear
I thought that was a rule.
It is. They called it an offensive foul. They were supposed to put an emphasis on it. That's what they say. They're putting an emphasis and
I
not
haven't seen it.
giving foul calls to offensive players who jump into defenders. Because when you're in the air, there's nothing you can do. So, and they called it for like 2 weeks, and then they went back to just calling it regular 3-point fouls. So
It's literally propaganda.
yeah. The player on the Thunder who gets on my nerves is Lou Dort. Like, I don't like watching Lou Dort.
He plays football.
He's playing the wrong sport. He should have shoulder pads and the helmet on Sundays, not playing in the NBA.
Yeah, I saw, and NBA Twitter, obviously, the most objective source for any news ever.
Yeah.
But I did see somebody, was going on a tangent on there a few days ago about how, they showed clips of him playing defense, and it looked out of like the 1990s. Like that's how old heads describe how their players played basketball in the 90s.
They let him get away with contact that other players don't get away with, which is
a lot of players don't get away with.
Yeah.
It's not just other players, it's a lot of players. I can't, especially because a lot of it is on the perimeter too. And while people are, moving off ball, which you could argue makes that even more obvious. That's the discrepancy that a lot of people, take issue with.
Right.
They don't even let Draymond get away with that anymore. Maybe 7 years ago they would have, but not anymore.
Well, maybe if Draymond didn't get 70 technical fouls every season, he would get a little more leeway.
Did you see the flagrant, going on a tangent, did you see the flagrant that he had against the Grizzlies Monday night?
Yeah, which, to be honest, watching it, it just kind of looked like a hard foul to me. It didn't look that bad. Did
what's
he hit
funny?
him in the face? Did he hit him in the face or something?
No, the issue was he wrapped his arm around him from the side. So as he was going down, his arm was behind him. So it kind of looked like he was dragging him down. You know what's funny is that just like you, I'm biased, of course, but when I saw it live, I thought, that's just a hard foul. As soon as it went to review, I was like, this is a flagrant because it's Draymond Green.
Yeah.
I was like, the jokes write themselves at this point.
But he gets no benefit of the doubt, absolutely none.
And you would think that he would change his play style because at the end of the day, it eventually hinders his team. It quite literally cost his team an NBA championship all those years ago.
Yeah.
You would think he would dial it down, but no, he doesn't.
Bro ended the Warriors dynasty twice when he called KD the B word and made him want to leave, and when he punched Jordan Poole. And he's still the same. So,
but those 4 titles don't happen without him, which is true. But that's until he cost the Warriors 4 titles, that it won't cancel out.
Yeah.
We got to go soon, but I want to end with the NBA released its power rankings for after the first week of the year.
Gosh.
Do you want to guess who's at the bottom?
Is this for all 30 teams?
Yeah. Just guess who's at the bottom.
The Pacers.
No, actually, it's the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay. Oh, how I don't.
So I just want to highlight this team, and I'm not.
Have the Nets won a game yet?
No, they're 0-5.
Okay.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
We are hate watchers at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and I don't want to drag this team too much, but we knew this team wasn't going to be good. What was the over under? It was I thought it was in the teens for wins.
I can't remember, but I do remember saying that if you are a casual basketball fan, somebody who doesn't watch basketball every single night, or at least damn near like we do, there's a possibility that you might not know a single player who plays for the Brooklyn Nets.
You might not even see the Brooklyn Nets play basketball all season.
Yeah.
Like you might not even see them play hoops ever.
The NBA's a highlights league, according to Adam Silver. Their highlights don't get posted. I haven't seen a single Nets highlight.
That's not true. So the reason why I bring this up is Cam Thomas had a 41-point game against the Spurs, actually. And
how many points did they lose by?
11. They lost by 11. You want to know why? Okay, Cam Thomas had he had a pretty solid game. He had 41 points on 11 to 25 splits. He shot 5 to 12 from 3, 14 to 14 from the free throw line. The man had 0 assists and 2 boards. This is why Cam Thomas is not getting paid more money, and B, the Nets are. It's literally like a worse version of the mid 2010s Carmelo Knicks.
Yeah.
Like who is like I got to put a pin in it because then I'll just go down the rabbit hole. But the Nets are exactly who we thought they would be.
Cam Thomas, if he wasn't in the NBA, he would be the greatest LA Fitness player of all time, I think.
In a parallel universe, Cam Thomas is like as a basketball YouTuber who goes, like the professor, like how they go to like parks and run fives.
Yeah.
He would be in a parallel universe. Cam Thomas is one of the most popular creators in that genre.
He would be playing in the creator league. There's like a YouTube creator league with all the, he would be there.
We'd know him for having like a celebrity all-star game MVP.
Yeah.
So that I just wanted to add that at the end because dude, the Nets are bad, dude. We were talking about the Clippers and they could get better. The Nets can't get better. I haven't even heard Michael Porter Jr.'s name, bro. Like I haven't even heard a word from that man except like maybe the podcast. I mean, so he is leading the team in rebounds at 5.5, and he's giving you 19 a night. But like, what are we doing? Not we, because I'm not a part of this team, but
I have no words.
Someone check on Eck, bro. Someone check on Eck. He's not even a Nets fan, but he's from the East Coast, so I feel like he feels it somehow.
Eck's hair is gonna grow back before the Nets like have a record
at 500 before they get to 500.
Are they gonna be 500 this year? Do you think? Are they gonna get to 500?
I don't think they will ever be 500.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
This was their chance to be it, and it would have been like if they were 1-1.
Yeah,
they blew that. That's over. So
yeah,
your number one guy dropped 41-0, and you lost by 11. Like that's it's not happening, bro. I could see the Nets. I could see the Nets trading Cam Thomas. To be honest with you,
yeah. They don't want to pay him, so
I could see them moving him like in like a few months for either some draft capital, which apparently they love actually using and not trading again.
Yeah.
They could trade him to like a win now team, and then just like hoard some picks or something. But anyway, the Nets are going nowhere really fast. The Clippers might be going nowhere soon. Yeah. And the Heat forgot their role in the NBA hierarchy. They're like, oh, did you say the Eastern Conference is open? They're not that. They're going to eat that up.
They're not supposed to be good offensively. They should be a 12th seed right now. That's where they should be. They shouldn't be in the top.
You know who's the 12th seed right now? The Toronto Raptors.
Darko's Raptors,
dude. 1-5, I think. Is that what they? Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the Hawks first night and then just decided to tap out
on the road by double digits, bro.
Yeah.
And then they had to sacrifice the Raptors for the Jays. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, you can never have two good professional sports teams.
You can't have two good professional sports teams, bro. Like, that's just not how basketball. Like, the Lakers and Dodgers won the titles in the same year, but like that was COVID. There's an asterisk next to it, allegedly.
Yeah, don't tell like that.
They don't like that. They don't like that comment. But other than that, like, yeah, you're not allowed to have two good professional sports teams in your city at the same time. That's just not how. There's just always something that interferes with it. So
yeah.
Whatever. But anyway, that's all we have for this week's episode of Professional Hate Watching Association. Can Wemban-Giannis and Giannis keep this up? They probably can, but we will keep following it. But until then, we will see you next week. For Daniel, I'm Ethan. We'll see you next week.